guess generally the quarterbacks, how they performed this spring, what have you liked about the group in general?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, there's guys that are all at different points in their development. You got Jordan that has a lot of football under his belt. He came out, operated at an extremely high level throughout the spring. Tate with some reps under his belt too, and then AJ just getting better, taking the meeting back to the field. And then, I mean, Brock really hasn't slowed down since tour of duty. He's hit the ground running, and it's fun to watch those guys get better every day.
Sounds like Brock is really welcome being thrown into the fire. You guys have installed so much on offense. What does that say about him that he's embraced that difficulty of
Sure.
learning this offense?
I think what it boils down to is he's a worker. He's willing to get his hands dirty and take the time, and then the other piece of it is he's willing to build the relationships with the other guys around him. And that's not to say that other guys in the room don't do that. It kind of just comes with the position. But he does have some of that it. You know, we talked about that moxie and everything, and I mean, I think that's something that Brock holds, that Brock has. Yeah.
Is Jordan, you know, he came in last year, he was the starter. He was the starter last spring, but he wasn't a star. After the season he had, have you seen a difference, I don't know, in mindset, preparation, the way he carries himself, the way he talks to teammates?
He's just, I mean, he's cranked it up. I think last year it continued to help build his confidence, and now he's really embraced that role as a leader, not just of the offense, not just of the position room, but really program wide. I mean, and he's become more comfortable in that role, and I mean, it's been really fun to watch him grow and have fun while he does it too. You know, I mean, you see him run around, make plays, but there's a big smile on his face too.
Right.
Beyond that, I mean, has there even been, have you seen growth in Jordan's game this spring? I know Coach Norvell's team kind of thinks he has even room for further growth.
Absolutely. I mean, he's continued to grow as a passer. I mean, we all know the dynamic traits he has as an athlete. But what's really impressive is just how he operates. I mean, he's consistently kept our offense out of negative situations. He's done a really good job taking care of the football and then getting us into good plays. And I mean, he is playing quarterback, which is awesome to see.
You mentioned him smiling a lot. Like, how cool is it, like, just given where he came from, and he's been super open about, like, having to build up confidence, but to see, like, where he's at now. Do you ever let yourself think about, like, where he was 4 years ago?
It's awesome to see the smile, the joy, the excitement coming out and doing this, because you put in so much time. I mean, those guys work their butts off, you know, and at the end of the day, you got to remember why you do it. There's still that little kid inside of you, you know, that started playing football when you're 8 years old, running around the backyard, probably getting beat up by your brother a little bit too, but it's a game. It's a very serious game. The bottom line is still wins and losses, but Jordan has joy doing it, and I love to watch that.
Were there any tangible things, I don't know if you can tracking completion percentage, whatever it might be with AJ, that you wanted to see from the start of the spring till now, and how has he come close to the goals you had for him? How much room does he still have to grow?
I mean, all those guys in that room have room to grow. I wanted to see AJ continue to grow in his operation of the offense, and just the consistency of it, you know, taking care of the football, making good decisions. Sometimes the best play is the next play, you know, throw it away or dirt the ball, and that's something that's hard for any quarterback to do. I mean, I love showing those guys clips in the NFL of a quarterback, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, name them, whoever it is, throwing the ball away. And I think that he's getting there, but just like everybody else, there's room for growth.
Can young guys like him and Brock specifically get trapped in the mindset of, well, I know I'm not starting this year. We got an All-American. We got a Heisman candidate quarterback. Like, how do they challenge themselves when they know unless something happens that nobody wants to happen,
right,
they probably won't play a lot of meaningful snaps?
At the end of the day, I mean, our daily objective here is to be 1% better. That is our program objective, to be better today than I was yesterday. And I mean, I think that mindset and approach in our room is evident. Those guys are pushing each other. They're pushing themselves. If he didn't have that mindset, he wouldn't be here, you know. So,
who's the second best athlete in your room?
Me.
Besides,
No.
present company excluded.
The second, I don't know. All those guys have some athletic trait to them that, I mean, it's different than Jordan. Jordan's different. We all agree with that. But I mean, Tate moves well. You see him out here doing backflips and everything too. Brock moves really well too. And then AJ's done a really good job just with his body through the offseason. I'm sure you guys can see he physically looks different and he's moving better. I think he's a little bit smoother and everything too, which helps.
Did you guys know when you were recruiting Brock that a smaller classification school that he was like quite this athletic, that he'd be able to go and run around with some of the guys you have on this roster?
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to trust your eyes and trust your evaluation. And I mean, we got a chance to see him practice, see him play, and I got a chance to see some of that live. But I didn't quite know that it was going to be like this, you know. And he's done a really good job. He's a worker, and he's going to put himself in position to be successful because of that.
Is it fair to say that, I'm sorry, Kurt, that he's more composed than a lot of guys in his situation? He just seemed to come out here and never, I mean, I'm sure his head was swimming,
Sure.
but he never looked overwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, I use the word moxie. I think that Brock is one of those guys. He truly does eat, breathe, sleep football, and that's part of him. That's who he is, and it kind of translates to who he is off the field too. I mean, he's very, very even keel, under control, and I mean, you see it on the field. So.
What's your challenge for Brock this offseason? Kind of getting that first bit of practice experience there. What do you want to see from him this summer?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing for all our guys, not just a young guy, is once you get into summer, you kind of break everything back down again to build it back up. So I think that he's going to appreciate the repetition of the install, of the fundamentals, of the physical and mental things that we asked him to do. I mean, it's the repetition for him, just like those other guys. Like you saw growth in Tate. Well, a big reason in that is because he got to do it over and over and over again. So it'll be fun just to see the steps that he and the other guys in the room make.
Have you seen the growth from Tate this spring that you wanted to see, building off the moments he had last year?
One of the things that I really appreciate about Tate is just some of the things fundamentally, footwork wise and everything. He's really tried to take ownership of it and focus on it when he's been out here, and there has been growth in him for sure, and it'll be exciting just to see those guys continue to push each other in that room. And I mean, we talk about all the other guys, Brock and Tate and AJ, but the competitive excellence of those three, and then even DMAC, I mean, that helps hold Jordan accountable and push Jordan too. So, I mean, everybody in that room always helps make everybody else better.
What's the game plan for Saturday as far as reps for quarterbacks and series? Are you going to try to split it up as evenly as possible?
I mean, we'll see a good mix of really all of them. You know, I mean, Jordan will get his work, you know, and then help coach up those other guys, but we'll try and split it up pretty evenly.
When Jordan has had the headset on or been on the side just watching, like, what has that been different for him? Like the way he's taking ownership of like not just the offense, but other guys in the room.
Yeah, I mean, I think it gives him ownership in the sense of, one, the obvious. If I'm going to coach up AJ to do this, I better be right too, you know. But the other piece of it too is it shows the confidence that he's built. And the rest of the room kind of sees that, and it's fun for those young guys just to watch the maturity of Jordan, even for Brock, who's been here for 4 months, 5 months, whatever that is. See how Jordan operates and pick his brain. I love when those guys have the chance to do that. And I mean, it's definitely beneficial though for Jordan to kind of see both sides of it too. And I mean, just be the leader of that room.
So when a new guy comes in, is the thought process more to take what they already have and refine it and just kind of work on their strengths, or do you want to take these guys and break them down and start over and try to build the mechanics from the background up?
I mean, I think when you're recruiting a guy, when you're evaluating them, there's traits that you look for, physical traits, mental trait, all that stuff. I mean, it's a little bit of both. We're gonna build a system around guys. I mean, we're a system built for playmakers. At the end of the day, we're gonna get the ball to our guys that can do really good things with it. I mean, that sounds terrible right there to say that, but I mean, it's kind of obvious. If I get a fast dude and I can get him the ball in space, I'm going to try and do that. If I got a quarterback that's really athletic and can do things with his legs, then I might do some more of that schematically. If I get a guy that can push the ball downfield, then we're going to try and push the ball downfield. So, I mean, we'll work to their skill set too.
When you're going through and evaluating guys at the end of the spring, is there like a specific collectively like evaluate everything they've done through 15 practices? Is there a certain like stat or metric or thing that you grade that you say this is the most important thing to do? Or I guess how do you go about evaluating them collectively through 15 practices?
Sure. I mean, we could talk metrics of grading all day. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's still about production and taking care of the football. Those two things, I mean, if you take care of the football and you're able to convert on third downs, you're scoring touchdowns. And so you're scoring touchdowns or kicking field goals if you're taking care of the ball too. So at the end of the day, it comes down to that. And I mean, that's a big reason why Jordan's been so successful too. Like I said earlier, he has kept our offense out of negative situations. He's been smart with the football, and he's got us into good looks too.